with Barney. Bye!
Oh, no, you don't. We're supposed to be on entertainment tonight. Fred!
Flintstones, Mr. Alan Reed.
Mr. Rappaport, we're here! We're the Red Cross!
They called it a family cartoon, but the Flintstones was never meant for kids.
The baby will be 7 years old by the time we get to the hospital.
Behind the laugh track were cigarette ads, beer deals, and a marriage the censors nearly banned. A pilot too adult for TV, a lawsuit that almost erased Bedrock, and one alien so hated it ended the show. From smoking cavemen to secret farewells, these are 30 strangest things only adults ever noticed, and once you hear them, you'll never watch Bedrock the same way again. Fact 30, the lost adult pilot.
Now you put your foot when you do, then I hug you and around we go.
Before Bedrock ever hit TV, there was the Flagstones, a rough, grown-up prototype that feels more Mad Men than Saturday Morning. Fred and Wilma drink cocktails, bicker about money, and even hint at strip club nights out. The humor's sharper, the marriage meaner, and Barney's laugh sounds half drunk. It was a test reel for sponsors who wanted to see if animation could behave like a live-action sitcom. When ABC finally bit, Hanna-Barbera scrubbed the vices and renamed the show. But if you ever see that short, you'll realize the Flintstones didn't start as family fun, they started as Stone Age sarcasm. The studio cleaned up the show, but one real-world comedy giant nearly killed it before it began. Fact 29, the Honeymooners' near lawsuit.
You seem to have forgotten that I am a woman.
What do you mean I don't treat you like a woman? I treat you like a woman. I let you sew, I let you cook, I let you wash the windows, I let you clean up.
Jackie Gleason, king of the Honeymooners, once joked that the Flintstones was my show in animal skins. Turns out, it wasn't far off. ABC lifted the whole template, gruff husband, sensible wife, goofball neighbor, and wrapped it in caveman decor. When Gleason's lawyers noticed, they urged him to sue. The catch? Suing would have also killed America's new TV craze. Gleason backed off, saying he didn't want to be the guy who yanked Fred Flintstone off the air. That restraint saved Bedrock and maybe the entire future of adult cartoons. Lawsuit dodged, the creators still had another identity problem. Even their name wasn't safe yet. Fact 28, almost called the Flagstones.
Wilma, when are we going shopping?
As soon as I serve His Majesty.
In early press materials, the show really was the Flagstones, right up until a last-minute phone call. A comic strip already owned the name, and Hanna-Barbera couldn't risk another legal hit. With ad copy and animation cells already printed, they needed a quick swap. Someone in the office scribbled Flintstones on a napkin, keeping the rock pun intact. Overnight, the entire production switched labels. If you look closely at certain early frames, the name Flagstones still hides in the background, a fossil of the series that almost was. But it took more than a new name. One man's relentless hustle finally sold the Stone Age dream. Fact, Barbera's 8-week pitch blitz.
So this is what they call the family thrift plan, huh, Fred?
Good afternoon, gentlemen. I'm your stewardess, Miss Brickhouse.
Joseph Barbera practically lived in a suitcase that summer. For 8 exhausting weeks, he lugged Flintstone storyboards across New York, pitching skeptical networks. Executives couldn't imagine grown-ups watching a cartoon at 8 p.m. After 50-plus rejections, ABC's programming chief gave him 10 minutes on his final day in town. Barbera launched into his spiel complete with voices, sound effects, and pretend credits. The exec laughed, said, "We'll try 6 episodes," and television history changed. It was the first cartoon built for prime time and the last one for years to get that kind of shot. The network was in, but fate almost silenced Bedrock before the cameras even rolled. Fact 26, Barney's voice from a hospital bed.
Especially Wilma. Take it easy, honey. I'm gonna be all right. Don't be hysterical.
When voice legend Mel Blanc crashed his sports car in 1961, he ended up in traction with his legs and arms in casts. Production couldn't stop, so they brought the studio to him. Technicians set up microphones around his hospital bed, and Blanc performed Barney Rubble flat on his back. Doctors said he sometimes slipped into character between doses of painkillers. You can hear the difference in those mid-season episodes. The voice slightly slower, softer, but still perfectly funny. Talk about dedication carved in stone. Even miracles of performance couldn't stop strange accidents in Bedrock. Some were straight out of a commercial break. Fact 25, Yabba-Dabba-Dive came from hair gel. Fred's immortal catchphrase wasn't scripted genius, it was a jingle riff. Mel Blanc borrowed it from the 1950s Brill Cream slogan, "A little dabble do ya." During one take, he ad-libbed "Yabba-Dabba-Doo" to fill a pause, and the producers kept it. The nonsense line became the show's sonic fossil. Every kid knew it by heart. The wild part? Blanc later joked that a hair gel company accidentally wrote the most famous cartoon chant in history. Proof that even prehistoric words can come from a 1950s bathroom shelf. But while Fred was yelling, the writers were quietly rewriting his family's entire future. Fact 24. Pebbles was supposed to be a boy. The plan was simple. Fred Jr., the chip off the old block. Scripts and sketches were done. Then a toy licensing exec saw the drawings and said, "Make it a girl, think of the dolls." Overnight, Pebbles was born with a top knot and big eyes designed for merchandising. The result was a ratings goldmine. Viewers adored her, and toy aisles exploded. The decision proved that a single gender swap could change television economics forever. Behind the soft blanket and rattle was one of the shrewdest marketing pivots of the 60 seconds. And speaking of pivots, the next one almost shattered the show's tone entirely. Fact 23. The Great Gazoo as sabotage.
Now press the orange button and stand back. Ah, fresh air.
Fans still argue, who killed the Flintstones? Many blame the Great Gazoo, that smug green alien who popped up in the final season. He was an executive demand. Someone thought kids needed space to compete with the Jetsons. Gazoo's magic tech ruined the show's grounded suburban humor, turning bedrock into sci-fi parody. Ratings tumbled. Even the writers rolled their eyes in interviews, calling him network sabotage in a helmet. The Flintstones limped to cancellation soon after. Gazoo's legacy? A cautionary tale of how one character can upend an entire Stone Age. Fact 22. Prime time for adults with a laugh track.
You wanted to show me something?
Why, yes, Mr. Rubber. Chances.
Your chances for a broken arm.
When the Flintstones premiered in the 1960s, it wasn't a kid's show at all. It aired at 8:30 in the evening on Fridays, right alongside The Donna Reed Show and Route 66. The scripts were written like sitcoms for grown-ups, complete with laugh tracks and jokes about rent, cars, and work stress. Most kids didn't even understand half the dialogue. It was the first cartoon to treat animation like primetime live comedy. The gamble worked. Millions of adults tuned in with cocktails in hand. Saturday mornings came later after reruns made Bedrock a babysitter. But if you think a cartoon in primetime was bold, wait till you see who Fred and Barney were selling on TV. Fact 21. Integrated cigarette ads.
Winston's got that filter blend. Yeah, Fred.
In the early 1960s, Hanna-Barbera had no problem lighting up their sponsors literally. Between episodes, Fred and Barney puffed on Winston cigarettes, praising the smooth taste as smoke curled over their Stone Age lawn. The same cartoon that later taught kids Yabba-Dabba-Doo also sold nicotine to adults during prime time. These ads vanished fast once parents started complaining, but you can still find them online. Fred leaning on a dinosaur fence, blowing smoke rings. It's the kind of ad you can't unsee. Cigarettes weren't the only adult indulgence in Bedrock. Next came something even frothier. Fact 20. Beer promos with Fred and Barney.
I better get back there and help you, Fred. One bush coming right up.
If the Flintstones seemed like your neighborhood couple, that was the point, so much so that beer companies wanted in. Fred and Barney appeared in regional beer promos where the pair clinked mugs and laughed about a long day at the quarry. The studio defended it as just adult marketing, but it made censors nervous. Family-friendly cartoon dads were suddenly mascots for hangovers. Hanna-Barbera quietly pulled those tie-ins once the show hit syndication. Still, it happened America's favorite cavemen were once the face of after-work drinking. And inside that adult tone, they snuck in something even TV censors had never allowed before. Fact 19. Married couple in one bed.
Dad, I'm trying to sleep.
I just wanted to let you know I'm on the job. Whenever you're ready, I'm ready. Just say the word.
Before the Flintstones, TV couples slept in separate beds, network rule. Then came Fred and Wilma, snoozing together under one blanket. In 1960, that was revolutionary. Newspapers called it scandalous, while others praised it as finally realistic. ABC hesitated but approved the scene after a sponsor said it made them seem modern. Millions of viewers gasped, but the world didn't end. Fred and Wilma quietly became the first animated married couple to share a bed on television. Today it seems normal. Back then, it was practically Stone Age intimacy. But their boldest domestic moment didn't happen in bed, it happened 9 months later. Fact 18, a full pregnancy arc.
Come on, one more push, for me.
Oh, I can't watch. But I can't.
In season 3, the Flintstones did something unheard of in cartoons or sitcoms for that matter. Wilma got pregnant. The writers played it straight, letting her cravings, fatigue, and baby talk unfold over months of episodes. When Pebbles finally arrived, it was treated like a real TV event, complete with network promos and magazine spreads. The episode Dress Rehearsal even aired as a primetime birth special. It made Bedrock feel human, not just funny. The catch? ABC's censors had to approve every shot of Wilma's belly before it aired. Sponsors loved it too, because the birth gave them the perfect way to pitch family products right into the plot. Fact 17. Sponsor-driven endings.
Flintstones, meet the Flintstones, they're the modern Stone Age family.
Most shows ended on a gag. The Flintstones ended on a sales pitch. In early seasons, Fred and Barney broke the fourth wall to thank sponsors like Winston and later Welch's grape juice. They'd turn to the camera, grin, and literally say, "And now time for a Winston break." It blurred the line between story and commercial. As the show became family-oriented, the sponsors shifted from tobacco to juice boxes, but the gimmick stayed. Hanna-Barbera had quietly invented the animated infomercial, and audiences didn't even blink. The writers knew they were satirizing real life too, especially when it came to Bedrock's secret boys-only club. Fact! Water buffalo satire.
Brother Porch, what is your suggestion?
I suggest that we allow our wives to attend our meetings. What are you trying to do?
Fred and Barney's beloved lodge, the Loyal Order of Water Buffaloes, wasn't just a random gag, it was a pointed parody of real-life fraternal organizations like the Elks and Shriners. Hanna-Barbera lampooned those secret handshakes, bizarre hats, and men-only traditions that ruled 1960s suburbia. Some lodge members were offended. Others loved seeing themselves as prehistoric cartoons. The Flintstones had turned middle-class masculinity into a running joke, and America laughed along, not realizing it was biting satire wrapped in brontosaurus horns. Those winks kept getting sharper, especially once Hollywood itself started moving into Bedrock. Fact 15, celebrity in-jokes.
May I borrow your hat and cane, Mr. Rubble?
Sure, be my guest.
Now then.
When Stoney Curtis, Anne Margrock, or Cary Grant appeared, kids saw colorful guest stars, but adults saw sly Hollywood parody. Each celebrity cameo mirrored the real performer's quirks, voices, and even scandals. Tony Curtis reportedly loved his Bedrock double, while Anne Margaret insisted on voicing hers personally. The show turned celebrity worship into a prehistoric red carpet, and grown-ups caught every pun. In a world before Saturday Night Live, the Flintstones were already doing celebrity satire just with stone tools and dinosaurs. Yet beneath all that glitz, there was a darker backstory, hiding in plain sight, one that turned the housewives of Bedrock into something unexpected. Fact 14. Betty and Wilma's cigarette girl passed.
Tastes good like a cigarette should.
Before Bedrock respectability, the writers hinted at a seedier backstory. In early drafts and tie-in books, Betty and Wilma were former cigarette girls, working a Stone Age nightclub tray of smokes, tight uniforms, flirt for tips. The gag was meant for adults, a sly nod to 1950s lounge culture. It never aired outright, but fragments survive in dialogue where Fred jokes about those days at the Rockadero. In reruns, that history vanished. Family audiences never knew the moms of Bedrock once started out handing out prehistoric Winstons. The reason it disappeared? The network had decided the show wasn't just a cartoon, it was now suburban satire. Fact 13, sold as suburban satire.
Killer?
That's what the mind said.
Got here. Steady, killer. Steady, boy.
Behind the dinosaurs and stone wheels, the Flintstones was sold to advertisers as the honeymooners in a ranch house. Every gag mirrored real 1960s suburban life. Car loans, nosy neighbors, PTA politics. Fred's bowling obsession was a stand-in for middle-class male escape, while Wilma's coupon cutting mirrored the rise of housewife marketing. The Bedrock prehistoric setting let the writers roast the modern world without offending sponsors. It was America in animal skins, a cartoon mirror nobody realized was satire until much later. But even that smart satire had a rough, grown-up edge, one that almost vanished when censors panicked. Fact 12, Fred's behavior reads abusive today.
Hey, something's going on.
You can say that again.
Okay, something's going on.
Oh, shut up.
Rewatch those early episodes closely. Fred yells, slams doors, and sometimes grabs Wilma's arm. In the 60s, that was played for laughs. Today, it lands uncomfortably close to spousal abuse. Some syndicated cuts quietly trimmed or redubbed those scenes. It's a reminder of how humor ages what once seemed married life realism now reads like temper and control. The Flintstones grew gentler by season 4, but those early outbursts remain fossils of a different television morality. The censors toned that down, but they left in something even stranger: blatant brand names hiding in every script. Fact 11, aggressive product placement.
Here's your paper. Tax.
Did you get your paper, dear?
Yeah.
Bedrock was a prehistoric marketplace. Characters casually mentioned Bronto King Gas, Stoneway Appliances, or Rock Donald's, all riffs on real sponsors. Some were paid tie-ins, others pure parody. The line between joke and ad blurred so badly that ABC once had to clarify which Stoneway products were fictional. It was the 1960s version of brand integration, the first animated show to treat its world as one big commercial. Watching it now, it's half comedy, half ad catalog. And that wasn't the only hidden message in the soundtrack. One odd noise made engineers blush. Fact 10 theme song with a muffled curse.
Let's ride with the family down the street through the courtesy of
Listen carefully to the master recording of Meet the Flintstones. Just before the final chorus, a sound engineer famously dropped a stick and muttered a quick curse. Early mono mixes caught it, buried under horns and chorus. Damn it, or so fans swear. When the theme was remastered in 1966, the track was cleaned, but the rumor stuck. Audio nerds still isolate the moment as proof that even Bedrock's happiest tune had a tiny crack in its perfect smile. Odd sounds weren't the only leftovers. Whole frames of animation kept coming back again and again. Fact 9, recycled animation everywhere.
Fred, come back! Barney, where are you going?
I gotta join my buddy.
That famous shot of Fred running past the same house 8 times? Not a mistake, a budget strategy. To keep up with deadlines, Hanna-Barbera built loops of walking, laughing, driving, and reused them across seasons. Some hand-painted animation frames even jumped shows a Fred walk cycle appears in Top Cat. Kids never noticed, but animators joked that Bedrock was the world's first treadmill town. What looked cheap actually pioneered cost-saving TV animation that defined Saturday mornings for decades. Behind those savings, though, were human costs that one actress never forgot. Fact 8, Wilma's actor pay gap.
Wilma, are you sure you want to go through with this?
I wish you'd relax, Fred. Look at me.
John Vanderpill voiced Wilma Flintstone, countless background characters, and even Baby Pebbles, yet early on, she was paid a fraction of her male co-stars and left uncredited in the first season. Residuals? None. When syndication money rolled in, the men got bonuses, she got silence. Vanderpill later said she stayed for Wilma, not the paycheck. Her warmth defined the show, but her contract showed how invisible women in voice acting could be. It's a stone-cold reminder that Bedrock's gender gap wasn't just fiction. And the scripts themselves weren't safe either. The writers once tried something so dark, it almost never aired. Fact 7, the suicide storyline that aired once.
Life just isn't worth living. Not without my little Bam Bam.
One season 4 episode, the Rock Quarry story followed a jaded movie star who hints at ending it all before Fred talks him down. The theme was rare and heavy for a cartoon: depression, fame, and emptiness. ABC aired it once, then quietly pulled reruns after parents complained. Copies survive only in private collections. It's believed to be the first animated episode to tackle suicidal thoughts on network TV, and Bedrock was never that dark again. After that shadow, the writers decided to say goodbye, but they hid their farewell where few fans ever looked. Fact 6, the show's hidden farewell.
This baby dance in Western style.
But if by chance your wife comes by.
Most fans don't realize the Flintstones finale, the story of Rockabye Baby, was never meant to be the end. But months later, the production slipped a real goodbye into the Gravelberry Pie King. Fred wins a pie contest, but the dialogue is full of double meanings. It's been a good run. Time to hang up the apron. Writers later confirmed they hid farewell lines on purpose, since ABC canceled them mid-planning. It's the kind of subtle send-off you'd miss as a kid, but feel as an adult a bittersweet bow for TV's first animated family. That curtain call wasn't the only mystery buried in Bedrock. Some say even its funding had shadows. Fact 5, mob money rumors.
Why, no, miss. Mr. Flintstone isn't home yet. Is there any message?
Will you please give him my measurements?
Your what?
My measurements?
Industry gossip in the early 60s claimed some backers behind the Flintstones ad accounts had unusual ties to New York investors with underworld reputations. No charges ever surfaced, but trade reporters whispered about creative bookkeeping and fast cash through sponsorship deals. Hanna-Barbera's lawyer dismissed it as tabloid nonsense, yet the legend stuck that Bedrock might have been built partly on mob money. Whether myth or truth, the story gave fans another reason to see the Stone Age empire as a little too good to be clean. Even if the books were spotless, the show's world certainly wasn't, especially its early all-white cast of Bedrock citizens. Fact 4. Bedrock's early all-white world.
Break it out! I can't! I'm stuck!
Hold the car, Barney! He'll go over the cliff! Stop the car!
For the first 5 seasons, Bedrock looked suspiciously uniform, everyone white, suburban, middle class, and straight. By the late 60s, reruns drew criticism for ignoring America's real diversity. Hanna-Barbera quietly added minor background characters of color and even a few integrated crowd scenes in later TV specials. It was token, yes, but it marked a small shift in animation's history. The Stone Age had finally inched toward modern times, proof that even make-believe towns have to evolve with the real world outside the cave. The studio tried to lighten things again, literally by giving a prehistoric dog something to say before taking it all back. Fact 3. Dino originally talked.
Uh-oh, Fred, you're overweight.
Really, sir?
In the unaired pilot, Dino wasn't the lovable barking pet we know he spoke full sentences in a Groucho Marx-style voice. Test audiences found it creepy and distracting, so the producers erased his lines and re-recorded him as a wordless, bouncing comic sidekick. One audio reel of Talking Dino still circulates among collectors. The lesson? Sometimes silence sells. Dino went from sarcastic roommate to loyal dog, and Bedrock gained its most huggable character. The characters might have softened, but the creative grind behind the scenes was pure pressure and exhaustion. Fact 2. Historic Emmy milestone.
And there he goes. Hold it.
In 1961, the Flintstones became the first animated show ever nominated for Outstanding Comedy Series at the Primetime Emmys. It competed head-to-head with The Andy Griffith Show and The Jack Benny Program. Critics called it TV's cartoon revolution. Though it didn't win, the nomination cracked open Hollywood's barrier between animation and adult television. That single nod legitimized decades of future shows from The Simpsons to Family Guy, all walking in Bedrock's fossilized footsteps. It's a legacy that keeps echoing, and the strangest part is, it all started with a couple arguing over dinner. Fact 1. The legacy that refuses to erode.
We're having the playoff at the Bridge Club, and Edna Boulder's regular babysitter couldn't make it. You wouldn't mind sitting with her little Egbert, Fred?
More than 60 years later, The Flintstones still defines TV's Stone Age, a show born from adult satire, cleaned for kids, and rediscovered by nostalgia. Its jokes about bills, bosses, and burnout feel as fresh as ever, and its controversies remind us how TV evolved. Every Yabba-Dabba-Do hides a little smoke, a little irony, and a lot of human truth. It wasn't just about cavemen, it was about us. And that's why Bedrock never really turned to dust. We laughed at the stone cars and the silly songs, never realizing the Flintstones was secretly about us. The ads, the marriages, the money, the mistakes, all carved into television's bedrock. What started as a cartoon ended as a mirror of 1960s America, still echoing 6 decades later. So next time you hear Yabba-Dabba-Do, remember, Bedrock wasn't just make-believe. It was a warning, disguised as a laugh.